System online, accessing classified archives. Welcome to Terminal Unsolved. File initiated. This case starts on Reddit in July 2009. A user named ReligionOfPeace stopped posting. Another user, called 2-6, announced that ReligionOfPeace had died. According to that post, the dead man was an older, grumpy user named Milo. He was said to be 79 years old. He was described as mean, isolated, and connected to military life. Most people would have treated this as ordinary internet drama. An old account goes silent, another account posts a death notice, and the thread disappears into history. But some users kept looking. They followed Milo's digital footprint. They found that he had been promoting a basic image hosting site. The site was called Lake City Quiet Pills. At first, Lake City Quiet Pills looked boring. It was not a hidden service. It was not a polished criminal marketplace. It looked like a cheap image host. Upload a picture, get a link, post it somewhere else. That was the visible site. The name was the first warning. Lake City can point to the Lake City Army Ammunition Plant, a major U.S. small arms ammunition producer. Quiet Pills is widely understood in this mystery as slang for bullets. The phrase makes more sense if you read it as a threat, bullets that make someone quiet. That does not prove the site was criminal, but it explains why investigators became interested. A Reddit user's death led to a site with a name that sounded like ammunition slang. Then users opened the site's code. This is the first concrete step in the investigation. The public page was only the surface. The source code contained material that normal visitors would never see. These were not normal developer notes like "fix this button" or "change this layout." According to online researchers, the hidden material looked like a private message board. And the messages did not sound like ordinary image hosting maintenance. They sounded like job coordination. The strongest version of the evidence is the HTML. Later retellings also talk about image metadata and EXIF data because that fits the idea of an image host being used as a dead drop. For this file, the important fact is simple. Users were checking the parts of the site that most people never check. In those hidden layers, they found messages that looked operational. The names repeated. Angel appeared. Shade appeared. Regions appeared. Europe, Asia, and possibly ME, which many readers took to mean the Middle East. The messages referred to people being sent out, job postings, old work, calendars, bills, travel names, rooms, and phone security. This is what made the case different from an ordinary creepy website. The hidden code did not just say strange things. It described coordination. Here is the list clearly. First, users reported job listings that sounded like private military or mercenary work. The wording was not normal office hiring language. It suggested people with specific skills, specific regions, and experience that would make sense in security or military contracting. Second, some summaries of the case describe requests connected to weapons or military-grade equipment. We treat that as reported, not officially verified. The point is that the hidden material was read by many investigators as operational, not social. Third, users reported location or target-style information. In some retellings, this becomes target coordinates. The public record is messy, but the direction of the claim is clear. People believed the hidden messages were not random text. They believed the messages were instructions. Fourth, the messages referred to money and bills. One later message was described as a party bills post. The wording made people wonder whether the party was a cover term for something else. Fifth, the messages warned that phones were not secure. That detail matters. A real birthday party does not usually need warnings about insecure phones. A covert operation does. At this stage, there were two explanations. Explanation one, it was a hoax. Someone built a disturbing hidden message board inside an ugly image host to scare people, create mystery, or play an elaborate game. Explanation two, it was a real back channel, not necessarily a movie-style assassin guild. It could have been private contractors, security people, former military contacts, or a small group using a public website because nobody serious would think to look there. The case becomes frightening because both explanations are plausible. A hoax would require planning, patience, and a good understanding of military language. A real channel would mean Reddit users had accidentally found a communications hub hiding in plain sight. Then the investigation reached the January 2010 messages. The hidden code reportedly mentioned a party for Milo. On the surface, That could mean a memorial or birthday gathering for the dead user. But the details were strange. The messages talked about hotel rooms. They talked about key cards. They talked about travel names. They talked about transport. They warned that the phones at the location were not secure. Those are not impossible details for a real party. Groups book rooms, groups arrange buses, groups pay bills. But the language did not feel casual, it felt controlled. It sounded less like friends meeting at a hotel and more like people being staged. That is why online investigators started asking whether party meant mission. Now we move from internet evidence to confirmed real-world history. On January 19, 2010, Mahmoud al-Mabhouh, a senior Hamas figure, was killed in a hotel room in Dubai. That is not a theory, it happened. Public reporting says Dubai authorities released extensive surveillance footage showing a professional team moving through airports, hotels, elevators, and public areas before and after the killing. The operation looked disciplined. Suspects arrived on different flights, they used foreign passports, some changed appearances, some checked into hotels, some tracked the target, some appeared to act as lookouts. Wired reported that authorities described an 11-person team in the surveillance footage. The Guardian reported that Dubai later identified at least 26 suspects connected to the alleged hit squad and that Israel neither confirmed nor denied involvement. This assassination was not random street violence, it was a coordinated hotel operation. This is the coincidence that turned Lake City quiet pills into a major internet mystery. The hidden messages described a January 2010 party. They included hotel rooms, travel, bills, key cards, and phone security warnings. In the same month, a real assassination happened in a Dubai hotel, carried out by a team that used travel logistics, hotel positioning, disguises, and communication discipline. Plain English, the online messages sounded like the planning notes for a coordinated operation. The Dubai assassination was a coordinated operation. The dates were close, the hotel and travel themes were close, the phone security theme was close. That overlap is what people found terrifying. We need to be exact. No official investigation has confirmed that Lake City Quiet Pills was involved in the Dubai assassination. There is no court record proving the site was a hitman board. There is no verified operator list. There is no confirmed chain from Milo to 26 to Dubai. The evidence is circumstantial, but it is specific enough to be disturbing. If it was a coincidence, it was a very dark coincidence. If it was a hoax, the hoax accidentally lined up with one of the most professional assassinations of the decade. If it was real, then an ugly Reddit-linked image host briefly exposed a communications layer used by people involved in lethal work. The next part is what made the case feel like a cover-up. Once Reddit users began discussing the hidden code and the possible Dubai connection, Lake City Quiet Pills did not remain stable. The site became harder to access. Then it disappeared from the ordinary web. Some reports say the people controlling the site moved hosts. Others say it was taken offline for good. Either way, the effect was the same. The place people wanted to examine was gone. That is exactly what investigators hate. When a site stays online, you can preserve it, you can copy pages, you can compare dates, you can check what changed and when. When it disappears, the case becomes a fight over archives, screenshots, and memory. Here are the final facts. A Reddit user known as ReligionOfPeace, or Milo, was announced dead in July 2009. His digital trail led users to LakeCityQuietPills.com, a basic image hosting website. The name appeared to reference ammunition and bullets. Users who inspected the site's hidden code reported a message board with job-like posts, military or contractor language, region references, names like Angel and Shade, hotel room logistics, payment or billing details, and warnings that phones were not secure. In January 2010, the hidden messages reportedly discussed a party involving rooms, travel names, transport, and phone warnings. In that same month, Mahmoud al-Mabhouh was killed in a highly coordinated hotel assassination in Dubai. After users began connecting the hidden messages to Dubai, the website vanished from easy public access. Those are the pieces. They do not produce a conviction, they produce a question. Was Lake City Quiet Pills an elaborate hoax by an internet troll who understood military culture and wanted attention? Was it a dark roleplay or private joke that later investigators misunderstood? Or did Reddit users accidentally find a real communication hub for international hitmen hidden inside a site that looked too ugly and too ordinary to matter. That is why this file still matters. The mystery is not just that the site looked suspicious. The mystery is that the suspicious site appeared to line up with a real killing. The final answer is still missing because the original server is gone. The hidden messages survive mainly through archives and retellings, and nobody has produced official proof that closes the case. The internet found a dead user, then it found his website, then it found hidden code, then it found a real assassination that seemed to match the hidden logistics. After that, the site disappeared. That is the whole path, simple, direct, and still unexplained. File status: unresolved. To maintain clearance for future decrypted files, initialize the subscribe protocol, end of file, system entering standby mode.